Hello, Legionnaires. This is Max Lau from Legion of Myth, and I welcome you to Game Master Insight and tonight's conversation on character options and complexity. How much is too much? Is it ever too much? A special shout out to our first-time viewers. I really hope you enjoy this conversation and come back again. Rumble rants and super chats will be read at the end of each segment. If you rant or chat $50 or more, I will take a drink in your name. No, you can't get me drunk. I'll stop at some point or pass out. I don't know. You can also be a silent supporter via Ko-Fi and other platforms through the various links in the description. Thank you for your time and for your support. All right, let's quickly meet our panelists, after which we will dive into our first conversation on creating a complexity budget. So in our third chair today, we have Doc Flamingo. Briefly tell us who you are and what content you create.
Hey, Doc Flamingo. I run Interrobang Games. I've got a couple out there. Amazon and drive-through. Check them out. Buy them, or I will kill you.
Well, there's a threat at the beginning of the stream. Awesome. Mr. Max, sitting in the middle position, briefly tell us who you are and what content you create.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Max Boivin from Off the Rails Roleplay. I do stream fortnightly called As Long as Everybody's Having Fun, where we discuss news and some philosophy about role-playing game and stuff like that. We have a creative segment. It's a lot of fun. You should come sometime.
Okay. And the
panel. You're going to get blind, though.
What's that?
You're going to get blind, though.
Why is that?
Oh, he has this wacky background.
Oh. Okay. And the panelist who will get us started is Bear. Briefly tell us who you are and what content you create.
I'm Bear, the Gen X GM. I run Zenith Comics. I produce role-playing games, comic books. I'm Lord of the 80s and a threat to right-thinking people everywhere.
Okay. Well, all right, Bear, you can get us started with, and here's our lead-in for our first segment. So customization can make a character feel distinct. We all know that. But every extra option increases rules load, decision time, analysis paralysis, system weight, etc. For this first segment, let's define and discuss what a table can reasonably handle before a choice really does start slowing down play.
Okay, so I'm going to first say that is an absolutely nonsense thing created by weak gamers who do not bother to learn rules or what their characters can do. If people could play Warhammer, 40K, if people could play Axis and Allies, if people could play all these games they invest the time in to learn, then they've shown that they can invest the time and learn a game system, and the game does not slow down. What happens is, and this is my personal opinion, you can all get mad at me for it, is that lazy gamers don't make the effort, don't know what their spells do, don't know what their feats do, don't know what their merits and flaws are, don't know what their anything is, and then slow down the game by making decisions before they roll their dice by looking up the thing at the moment. And we all know this from experience. Any game you've played in where the GM has mastery and the players have mastery, it doesn't matter how complex the game is, the game runs tickety-boo, no problems, because everybody knows what the hell's going on.
I honestly couldn't agree more. I'm trying to write down a note for something to...
Already. That's funny. Like, I don't completely disagree with Bear, obviously. Like if you play a game, you should learn the rules of the game and show up like prepared and stuff like that, right? It's just common decency. What I find like is nonsense when people talk about like those complexity and if you need it and stuff like that. It's like complexity come from so much more than what's on your character sheet, the rules that you can use, the power that you can, but the button that you can press, right? Your character is much more than that. Your character should have like the complexity of your character and what makes him distinct should come from his goals and his.
But that's not what we're talking about, you madman. We're talking about game decisions and mechanics. We're not talking about being deep role playing. I agree with you. The complexity of your character should come from who the character is. But we're not talking about role playing. We're talking about game mechanics.
In Bear's defense, that is true, and I am supposed to do a better job of moderation of this stuff. But go ahead and finish your thought.
But like the reason why I talk about that, the reason why I bring that up is that I'm saying that you don't need the rule complexity to have this diverse character. So it is linked. It is linked to the topic. I'm sorry.
It's not definitely. Look, it's not a need. I agree with you. It's not needed, but some people like it. Some people also like fate. I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know what's happening in their skull, but they love Fate. They think it's the greatest role-playing game ever made. And then some people like Fantasy Craft, and they think that's the greatest role-playing game ever made, or Aftermath, or any other of these.
Oh God, Aftermath! I haven't heard that in forever.
Right? The point is that need isn't the question. The question is, does it slow down the game? No. Bad players and bad GMs slow down the game. Is my take.
Or just to jump in, or at what point do you believe it does slow down the game?
Aftermath.
I don't know what that is. I don't know that one.
Aftermath was a post-apocalyptic role-playing game that was literally one of the most complex games you'd ever see. Like, it was almost at the point where, like, I stand up, all right, let me roll for random seismic activity to fall over. Like, it was that kind of crazy.
Because I believe that there's some like also fundamental bad design that do slow down the game, right? Like, one thing I fucking hate, and we see more and more, is like those buttons you can press, but are like circumstantially they have like circumstantial condition, right? So you can use this power if this condition happen, right? And then like every time you want, like, oh wait, can I do this? Did you use a spell in the last round? Oh yes. And did you move 5 feet? Oh okay. Oh, then I can do that, right? Some condition can be fine, right? Some are clear enough, like somebody move close to you can stop them from moving, right? That, you should know that, right? But sometime like they go like so deep, like, oh, if an ally use this type of power, and then like the ally use a power, but they have, oh, is that like a daily power or what? Like, oh yes, oh, then you can reset it.
I don't see that as a problem. I see that as a taste. You don't like that. That's fine.
I don't like that because I think it does slow. But it does slow
because
down
you don't
game.
like it. But the people who like it, I watched a 5e Fight Club go, and they love 5e, and they've memorized the goddamn rules, and they know what everything does, and it just was like bam, 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 bam. No one was stopping to, hang on, let me look that up. Hang on, that's no. They knew what their characters could do. They knew the rules. That's my point. If you know the rules, your GM knows the rules. There is no level of complexity that'll be too much because you know what you're doing.
There's also like a fundamental
go ahead, Doug. It depends. It's circumstantial too. I mean, depending if it's a new players with a new game, new group together, you might not necessarily want to go with something very complicated. Online is a little harder to deal with complex rules than in person. So, I mean, there are other factors involved. But, I mean, as far as character creation goes, I mean, there are some I think are just bad that way, like GURPS.
And yet there are people out there who know GURPS back to front and love GURPS.
And, and they're wrong. But that's fine. They're allowed to be. But so I mean, out there are systems.
That's how I feel about people who are into Mutants and Masterminds Second Edition and onwards. They're wrong and they're allowed to be, but stop hanging out around me, man.
Well, I mean, even outside of GURPS, I know that every time we bring up talking about either champions or the hero system, people are like, "Oh my God, the speed system is so broken." I actually thought it was fantastic for that type of game.
It's great.
What's that?
The segment system, the little chart.
The
you go on this segment, and this segment. It was great.
But you and I are now apparently in the minority. Most people are like, that is the dumbest thing ever. I hear constantly. But my point is that's taste. Now, is that complex? No, you look at the table. You know what your speed is. You know you go on with segments. So you're done. I don't understand how that's a problem. But anyway, question starting with Bear. One of the things that I've run into when it comes to exactly what you said, and I couldn't agree with you more on what you said, by the way. I'm just your tool again. But
yay! I miss these days where you're my tool.
One of the things that I get pushed back on is, Max, I have a real job. Don't turn my game into a job. And that's what you're doing. Like, I just want to show up, relax, and play. And you're putting all these requirements on me now. That's a job. And no, I'm not going to do it.
Okay,
I mean, the easy answer is don't be at my table. I get that, but I'm talking that general mentality or malaise, whatever. Okay, go ahead.
But what's the question? What to do if they do that?
No, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, and how can we counter that?
Go play Fate.
That's fair.
Go play Flip Coin Dungeon. All right, heads. You killed the dragon and get the gold. Great, let's play again. I mean, if your entire thing is I just want to goof around and not really commit and all that, awesome. There are games out there for you. There are tables out there for you. But if the rest of the table is into something that's crunchy, or they want to have fun, they want to be involved, and they really want to make this something that matters to them, don't be the poison pill that walks in and moans and whines and bitches and complains. Go do something else. Let them have their fun. If all the table wants that and the GM doesn't, find a new GM who wants to run the game the group wants to play.
I think what you're saying there, like, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, I think that's just a question of vetting the players and also picking the right game for the right group of people. Is this particular group what's more important, or is the particular game more important?
Yeah.
Yep. And what I'm about to say, like, it goes back to the question of like what people see as the game, right? Like what people like see like as because for some people, like crunching down number and like calculating mechanics and stuff like that, for them that's the gist of the game, and they're gonna think
kind of the meta, so to speak. The meta is the game.
Yeah, like they're very like they have like this very tactician mind. So yeah, like they have like those options, but for them, like that's the moment where they get to play the game, and then they can argue that the GM doing long exposition, description, and the story is what slowed down the game, right? Because they're just gonna sit there waiting for the GM to be done with his dumb fucking story because they want to go back to combat and crunching number, right? There are some people out there like that, and that's their fun, and they're allowed to do it still, because I'm not in power yet.
4D character creation.
Dictator of all RPGs.
How much can you lift?
Yeah, but like
pick up the weight. Okay, your character has a 2.
Yeah, no, but like for me, like what I see as the game, and the part that I don't want to slow down is the moment when we make like narrative choice, and where like there's tension that is get resolved and get created and stuff like that. When we like the
cat butt,
the in character decision, right? For me that's the gist of the game, and those mechanic stuff, they're there to resolve the randomness of the game and like have the moment and have some uncertainty, but they're not why I play the game, right? I play the game for the immersion and the
but you do
emergent
accept
narrative.
That's a choice and a taste,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's not like I'm joking about the Mutants and Masterminds thing just to basically bounce off docs, then they're wrong. There is no wrong. There is taste and choice, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a very aesthetic thing, right? It's like it's not like a but in a sense, that's one thing we need to consider, like when we say like slow down the game, right? Well, it depends what you see as the game.
Right? No, well, I'm glad you're saying that, because I think that is part of this first segment. Is because first segments are usually about defining what we mean and kind of leading into that. Mm-hmm. So that might be a good place to start. Bear, again, I start with you because it's your segment.
Yeah, sure.
What to you would quote unquote slow down a game?
Bad players who don't know what their characters can do, suffer from analysis paralysis because they haven't figured out what their character can do, and don't know the game, and then they go every time it's their turn. That slows the game down.
What about the idea of this long combat?
Some people love long combat. What's wrong with it? If you love a long combat, as long as you're not just whacking the pinata of hit points, if there's dynamic things happening, I'm going to have fun. But if it's just a roll, you did 4 points. Okay, your turn. I attack. Okay, roll. You hit. Oh, okay, give me your die. Okay, you did 4 points. Okay, Doc, your turn. Okay, I attack.
No, okay.
Yeah, that's boring.
Okay.
But that's where a GM can help by using narration techniques and descriptive techniques and all these kinds of things that'll make the game more dynamic and more interesting, right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, again, system mastery defeats slowdown. System mastery will always defeat slowdown.
All right, Mr. Mack, same question for you. What is your definition? But to you, where does a game slow down, or what do you think causes slowdown of game? I know you kind of already gave that answer, but just to reiterate it real quickly.
Well, a lot of like what Bear said, I agree with. Like people that don't know the rules, it's obvious too. Slow combat, yeah. If the only thing that changed in a round is like some number on the character sheet, that was a fucking wasted round, right? If there's no if you just like chipped away the hit point, right? That's fucking boring for me, and that's a big slowdown. That's usually part of a bad design. The unclear rules, right? When you have like those power, like I said, that are conditional, and then you always have to negotiate with the GM or ask a bunch of questions to know if you can use it or not, right? To validate if you can use it, all those if then else or what, all those kind of questions that we see more and more. Like we see that like in Dagger Art, we see that in the Colville one. What's the fucking name? I forgot.
Draw steel.
Draw steel, right? We see this design philosophy more and more, and and in video game, those power are fine because like the computer is gonna tell you right away, right, if you can or can't. But in role-playing game, for me, that does slow down the game. One player habit that I fucking hate and I ban from my table is test driving your turn. Is when it's a player's turn, test driving your turn. It's the player's turn, and instead of saying what he does, he say, "Oh, what would happen if I would do that?" Right? Well, do it
and find
and we'll
out.
figure it out, right? But you see that a lot. Like we watch actual play, and people do that all the time. Or they say what they do, and then like the GM educated, "Oh no, wait, I don't want to do that." And then when retcon the turn, they say that fucking slow down the game. It's your turn. You're in a critical situation. There's a time crunch, right? There's stuff happening. The world keep moving. Make a decision and make it now because things like the world keep moving.
Yeah, when people do that to me, I was like, okay, I'll get back to you, and I'll come back to him one
time.
Yeah,
I've seen you do that. It's hilarious.
You spent this turn having an existential crisis. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen you. I've been in games where Doc's done that. It's hilarious. But no, I agree with you, Mr. Max. 100%, I agree with you.
So, Mr. Max, in terms of combat, what would again, using that mythical or that metaphorical or proverbial long combat, or the combat's too long, what would be a combat that's too long for you?
It's not the length per se. It's what's happening round to round, right? If you have 2 rounds back to back that are the same, basically, right? That everybody at the table do the same thing more or less, or like most of the people do the same thing more or less, then the combat is too long. One of those rounds should have been cut, right? For me, that's what makes the combat too long. If every round there's the situation change, there's something dynamic happening, people move, the odd change suddenly, right? Then it keeps interesting, and you can keep that going for a long time. It's really when you start having it repeat, when you have like every bite tastes the same, right? It gets cardboardy.
Okay. And Doc Flamingo, same question for you.
I think it's again. I think it's largely circumstantial. I mean, everybody's got to be into the game. Also, the environment you're in. If I was going to be running a game online, and where we had an hour or two, I would never attempt to run Rollmaster, for example, because that would just you'd be doing nothing but math the entire time. So it's
tables.
Yeah. So I mean, it's you got to know what everybody's level of complexity is, how they know the rules or how quickly they're going to pick them up. So hopefully if there's somebody you've played with before, and just, you got to tailor the experience to the table you have, and just, not put people in situations where you're just going to be constantly fighting with them. I think is the main thing, where you're getting into like arguments, or you're getting like resistance because of, Bear doesn't like that the combats are too long, and Max it doesn't get enough role playing going on because there's too much crunch here going on. It's you got to know, you got to read the table and have pick the right game and set the pace. But yeah, again, basically what Bear says, everybody's got to be in, and they got to know what they're doing. And if it's people that don't know what they're doing yet, start with something nice and simple.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's... Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Games that have optional rules, strip it down at first and just add things as you go till you get to a point where, okay, this is where everybody's really good. A lot of complex games do that, where you don't have to use everything. Start out small, so get it to where, okay, they've got this down. Let's add this rule in. Things like that. And a lot of times, even if it's good players, if it's people who haven't played together, it can be awkward at first. Everybody doesn't, nobody wants to step on each other's toes. For some people, absolutely want to step on everyone else's toes. So you have to. So basically, I would say, keep it as simple as possible, and then add complexity as you go, and you're going to find your level where at the table's at, where everybody's at.
So to you guys,
when you find out your level is Barney the dinosaur. Sorry, go ahead.
For you guys, just for the audience out there to pick your brains a little bit more, for you to express your brains to them a little more, what counts as complex? When you're thinking about this, what are you thinking about as complexity? Are you thinking rules? It sounds like that's coming to some of it. Are we thinking like discussion points, exceptions to rules that come in, optional rules like Doc Flamingo said, character sheet, and this is one of the things I actually want to lean into a little bit, tracking things on character sheet, time that it takes the GM to resolve stuff that we're just sitting here, like, because he's got to figure out, like the role master, hold on, what actually happened here instead of just coming up with something. What to you kind of defines, for lack of a better term, complexity in the terms of this conversation? As we're talking about it,
I think
crunch.
I think you want the math as front loaded as possible. You want that out of the way.
Crunch in play is the problem.
Okay.
If you're preloaded, you know what your character does, you know how to go through the round. If you have to then, like, well, this triggers a roll, the triggers a roll, the triggers a roll, the triggers a roll, the trigger. Oh my God. That's something I'm calm down.
Yeah, for me, like, if tracking stuff, if it's something that the player can track on his own and you can trust them, right? You should play with people you can trust and not cheat. Yeah, I know it's a controversial statement, but don't play with people you cannot trust.
Yeah,
but if you have like in the ideal situation that I don't think it's that high, and they can track them on their own. For me, like that doesn't bother me. Like, I don't want them to have to track like 20 things, because at some point that's too much, right? And they're gonna think just about tracking and not think about the game. And for me, it's really like about like there's those game design by rule by exception, basically, like design by exception, right? So you have the general rules, but then every character got something that they can do that are outside the rules and have nothing to do, and they have a whole different subsystem and stuff like that. For me, that become very complex. People know, like, oh, now we have to stop what we all understand here because your character do this thing differently, right? And it's like games that are badly homogenized. Burning Wheel is extremely guilty of that, because you got like those different systems that are similar but work slightly different, and then like you always have to review when you're about to use them, because like you confuse one with the other, right? Because they're not distinct enough. Then you say, okay, this is how this works, and this is, it's like no, in this one it's not like the other one. There's this slight difference here, and that drives me mad.
I mean, that's very true of two of the systems I love, Palladium and the Year Zero engine. They both are like, 90% of it, but that 10% is what gets you.
Yeah. So all those things, like rules that I like. For me, good complexity is when you when there's a cost to using a power or using an ability or stuff like that. Just use power, just make it simple. There's a cost there's a cost or a trade-off to use a power that makes you wonder, should I use it? Not that there's a bunch of like conditions that say, could I use it, right? Like, if you're in the should, like now, like it's narrative and stuff like that, and that's interesting. If you're in the could, now you're just like thinking about game mechanics, and that's annoying to me.
And I say, why not both? It doesn't have to be either or. It can be a mix of both, or the mechanics.
I'm just speaking for myself. Right?
No, I know. I'm speaking for myself. Am I allowed? You crazy French bastard. Listen, I live in your province, but I'm still allowed to talk. They haven't passed that law yet.
Speaking French.
OK, mais pour moi, là, quand les situations étaient comme les mécaniques sauf que le narratif, là, c'est pas bon. Mais quand les deux étaient ensemble, so when you take the idea of saying, okay, yes, narrative, should I do it? I agree. But there's also the can I do it? And that needs to be there as well. That needs to be a certain amount of, well, no, you can't do this because you're not in a position to do it. So whether you should or should not doesn't enter into it. When you're in a position to do so, then the should becomes the question, right? But every game fails to some degree because game designers will not answer the simplest questions about their game system or how it runs, which is who, what, where, when, why, how. You need to be able to answer those questions. If you can't answer those questions, or you can't answer them just being dismissive, your game has a flaw. It has an exploit. It has something that can happen. And that's where mechanical players will come in and find the ways to push through and spread it and cause disruption at the table.
We'll definitely be talking about that in the second segment.
Okay.
Doc, did you want to add anything to that? Or I have one final. Okay. So I do want to lean into the character sheet side of things a little bit now. So and going back to Bear again, in terms of character options, and we're talking whether this character creation or as the game goes on and characters develop, Where, in your opinion, does useful customization and just simple option overload begin?
First edition AD&D.
Interesting.
That character sheet is a nightmare to look at. If you don't know the system and you pick up a character sheet for first edition AD&D, your mind goes boo, because there's just like so many things on it, right? Your character sheet needs to be simple, basic, and direct. Everything else they can make notes on, right? One of the things 4th edition did right was the idea of the cards, of what your abilities are. So that way the player can have their cards, they can look at them, and they can know what they do. They don't have to, everything has to be forced on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. The obsession with the character sheet is something that needs to die.
I got to write that down. I got to wait for members only for that one.
Die. Because every game I have designed and sold, the first question I get asked, was there a character sheet for this? Yes. Word. Pen and paper. Notepad. Pages.
It's funny you say that, eh? I always do my character sheet in fucking Notepad, because then I can organize things like, oh, I like it and stuff like that. I just like stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like people like saying, I'm going to send you like a form fillable character sheet. No, I'm good. I'm just gonna fucking. If I cannot do it,
that's the other thing. That's the other thing. Is there a form fillable character sheet? No, there isn't. It's serious. It's called Word. You can write your own forms. There you go. Go use Excel. Go do something.
I like the form fillable character sheets on there. But no, I definitely agree that it needs to be a character sheet. Needs something you can just glance at and see what you need.
Yeah.
As soon as you start packing crap in, and there's little boxes everywhere, and you got to like, but you need a microscope to read it because they only give you so much room. Then it just gets ridiculous. If you're going to do that, make multiple pages.
But then people are like, I don't want a 3-page character sheet. Well, then you don't want to play the game. You just want me to do everything for you. So shut up.
Yeah.
No, the thing is I want to say this for members only, but I'll tease some of it. I'm with you on that. I've had arguments recently, and that's why it's kind of stuck in my craw, with people like, if the game doesn't have an official character sheet, it's a broken game. It's a failed game. Like, why? Use a notebook. I shouldn't have to do that. You should want to do that. Is nothing going to change in your character over time that you're not going to want to jot stuff down?
I think some games benefits more from having a character sheet than other, right? Like if I play like Call of Cthulhu, because there's so many skills and stuff like that, then having a character sheet is just convenient. But that's not complex, just a list of skills that are alphabetized, right? Just like it's just like a lot of information to put in, right? So, but I could do it in Excel. It would take me a little more time, but it wouldn't be a problem either, right? And then I can still organize things. I think one thing with a character sheet, it needs to be like functional before being pretty, and that a lot of games try to do it on the design, right? And then like, like Conan 2D20 is guilty of that. The character sheet looks so fucking busy, and then like one thing I'm pretty proud in the Bastard Sword, and it's still like a working design, right? But the character sheet I have,
vaporware.
I just did a big update, by the way, on it with some magic, the magic system.
No, continue. I'm sorry, it was a cheap shot. I'm sorry.
The character sheet is one sheet of paper recto, like on both sides, right? And it's you can fold it in half if you print, like it's meant to be print like a landscape, and you can fold it in half, have like a little booklet, and each side of this little booklet is a different, this are your skill. This is what you're gonna need in combat with your armor and your attack, and this is what you need. This is your equipment, and this is like the character creation side, right? For your background and stuff like that.
Yeah, but if you don't put staples in it for me, it's a failed character sheet.
It's just one paper.
What if I can't get by on a pad of disposable rip-off sheets? Then it's a failed game.
Well, get some Lepage glue and make your own.
Mr. Max, were you able to answer the question in terms of character creation or options?
Character sheet?
Character sheet. In terms of character options, though, whether character creation or character sheet options, where does useful customization end and overload begin?
I think a good character sheet can help some game. Like there's some game that definitely benefit from a good character sheet, and I think like the official character sheet of some game definitely arm that game, right? Like, so it goes both way, right? Yeah, I don't think like a lot of game I don't think don't need a character sheet, because like again, I'm a big fan of the notepad approach, but a good one.
I'm a big fan of the notebook approach.
Yeah.
All right, Doc, same question for you. I can re-ask it if you want, or you can just jump on it.
I definitely think character sheets need to be simple. They need to be quick references. I think it comes into the nature of the character system where it's a problem. Like first, just because it's another opportunity to shit on GURPS, I'll do so. That I think is like a terrible system because it's once a person knows it, it's utterly exploitable. You create cookie cutter characters because there's ways to do it correctly. It's incredibly difficult for new players because the skill systems are, for instance, if you're making a modern physician character in that game, there's like 12 things you need to have. And it's very easy to miss them. So I think the problems there are more from system than
okay. So going with the system then, in terms of character options, where does useful customization end and option overload begin in your mind?
Well, it depends on how well it works together and how much time people have to put into it and learning it. I like complicated character systems.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of like the Traveler system. Which can get pretty complicated, especially if you use like the extended rules with, I'm thinking of classic Traveler with all the little booklets and stuff. Everybody had their own.
Oh, no, yeah. I played Traveler, yeah. Sorry.
So, I mean, I like that. I like putting time in and spending with the character process because then you feel like, you get to know the person while you're making it. It basically comes down to how much time people are willing to put into it. Does everybody know the system? Because if you have a complicated generation system and you don't have time for everybody to like make them together, or whether it can get, especially with a more complicated system, you can get hellish and nightmarish, especially people like screwing things up and making broken characters or leaving stuff out. So it's all a matter of the time you have to commit to it and how into the game people are. But I think it's just a question of rules. And like the perfect example of the worst character system I think ever is Rollmaster as written, at least the earlier versions. Because if you actually played that game as it was written, you would spend every other entire session just updating your character.
So I can give you another one that's pretty bad for that when it comes to options overload, and I'll save that for members only. I'm gonna write that note down right now.
Yeah, and in the case of like Rollmaster, it's not even that there's a ton of options, just everything changes and you're averaging traits to get bonuses, and they're up and down every level. Levels come really cheap. So you're going up 1, 2, or 3 every session, and it's
really?
Oh yeah, the old, I don't know, they may have cleaned it up in later editions, but in the original Rollmaster, your stats would go up and down every time you leveled.
Huh.
And then you'd have to, and your skills would like be affected by an average of 3 different traits, all of which changed. And there's like, you've got like 50 of them. It would get ridiculous.
That sounds like something I would have loved in the 90s.
Yeah, is that are those like big change, or just like in talk through your stats change, like it doesn't matter or anything, right? It's like
you're basically rebuilding the character every time you level.
Oh, really?
Well, this is something. Okay, this is something I argue about in Star Trek, right? As much as I love Faster Trek and a lot of other Star Trek games, you need a skill called sciences. That's it. You need a skill called engineering. That's it. No, we gotta have mechanical engineering, we gotta have material engineering, we gotta have this engineering. I'm like, okay, did you watch Star Trek? Never once in my life in an episode of Star Trek, Scotty, I need you to look at this. Captain, I'm a mechanical engineer. I know nothing about material engineering. Like, it never happens, right? That type of thing. When you get those skill-based systems that can get overloaded with skills, like GURPS is a perfect example of that, by the way. I think you're losing the plot a little bit, and you're making your game pointlessly complicated.
It's funny you say that. Oh, go ahead.
What about broad skill with specialty? Right, you have an engineer skill.
Big fan of that. Huge fan of that.
Yep, yeah, that's Mr. Max. I agree. That's one of the things that I struggled with in my game is I talked to some people who want like 1 million skills. They want like the Palladium skill list, and I talked to other people like, dude, Free League's got it right. You only need 16 skills. We can get it all done there. And I'm like, no. I think that somewhere in there we can find a balance. So my balance is going to piss off everybody. I won't tell it here, but
well, it depends also a lot with the that's impacted by other design decision, right? The way you gain skills
Yes.
matter a lot, right? You can like in Call of Cthulhu, you use a skill and then you have a chance for it to increase, right? So it's not a choice that I have to put those points here, right? So having more skill is not really harmful there.
Yeah, but
in
I
some
think a
games,
lot of it has to do with how many players are at the table. Having a general science skill like Bear's talking about works great for a table that has 4 players.
Yep.
Because you want your science officer, you want your well, I guess we can use the Star Trek thing. You want your doctor, you want your science officer, you want your combatant, you want your face character, your diplomat, whatever. So you're gonna want that person to have like everything. So a skill called diplomacy covers it all, right? But at a table, say with 8 players, or that's more troop style, you might want the person like, well, I want my character to specialize in physical sciences, and you can have life sciences over there, and then we're both useful at some point or another. But we generally know science when we just have some high school level crap to do. I know players on all sides of those fences, and that becomes a big argument. So for me, I just think it's
all of your players behind fences at all times. That is an important thing. Thank you. I'm glad you finally said it.
Behind fences?
You said you got players on either sides of those fences. Yes. Put fences around all the players. Don't let them be free range. If you let players be free range, I vote.
Well, I mean, it depends also. This is like a high tech or science fiction game is probably going to need more than a fantasy game is going to. But I think the general rule should always be keep it as minimal as you need it to be. Only make the distinctions when they're absolutely necessary, really meaningful, and that's why specialties is such a great idea, and it's almost always the best option.
Okay, well, you know what? I think we have beat this segment to death. I certainly tried to make sure we hit every nook and cranny of this one. So coming up next, our panelists will discuss managing the system mastery gap. Now, the management might be simple. There isn't one. Get rid of them. I don't know, but
good scrub.
Get good scrub. That could be an answer. We may have just solved segment 2 right there. But who do you believe had the most compelling, interesting, or novel position here in segment 1? Did you learn anything new that you may try at your table or in your game? Let us know in the comments. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to all the panelists' channels. And you can find the links in the descriptions. Your watch time, your comments, and your shares really, really, really do help this type of conversation reach more RPG fans. And I've recently been contacted by, we'll say, some newer folks have been watching. Like, oh my God, you have such a big back catalog of videos here. I'm just catching up on. Yes, we do. And honestly, thank you for the folks who've been sharing this stuff. Please continue to do so that we can get more new folks in here to realize, wow, these conversations are actually pretty fun. And maybe we might be looking for one of them. Sign up on GMI Discord, read the rules, and find a panel topic that interests one of them as well. If they want to.
It's a trap. Don't do it.
You know why you see the same faces almost every week? They're behind fences, and I don't let them go anywhere.
Eat your way to the fence.
Yes,
he's
trapped Max in this hellish, like Michael Moorcock blood
Written by Clive Barker and narrated by Ginny D. Oh,
wow. Let's look at some of the comments that we got. Most of the comments were just back and forth with those folks. A lot of good stuff that has been going on. Paul, is it Bacula or Bachelata? I don't know. B-A-C-H. Bachelata. We're saying Bachelata. 10 joules. Happy poop. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but Barry, he's your friend.
Joules are.
I was pooping during the segment 1.
Oh.
The hell are joules?
I don't know. It's something that YouTube does. Somebody says they're like bits in Twitch, but Twitch bits give me money, so I don't know what these do. We'll find out. If I all of a sudden get a paycheck,
like a little envelope with like a bunch of stuff and shit.
But you know what? I'm happy for his happy poop joules. Thank you very much.
Yay!
Bob Kidda says there's too much of a push to simplify. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's up to you what you like and go for the game that meets your needs.
I would agree with that in a sense, right? Like I'm writing my own game, Bastard Sword, and it is a crunchy game. It is a complex game. But the reason I'm writing that is like I wanted to see, like it's an experiment to see if I could make a game that adds some mechanical depth and complexity, some crunch, but where that crunch wouldn't get in role play in the way that we see it, right? In staying in character and stuff like that. So that's the circle I'm trying to square, because I do like having more complex truth. I do like having like tactical stuff that you can use and stuff like that. I just don't want to have to talk about mechanics at the table. I want them to blend in, right? So that's what I'm trying to do here.
So question
Doc,
for you
go ahead.
I think the more complex your rules are, the more you need to simplify them in a way. And I don't mean just cut things out, but good enough is perfect in a rule. You don't need to hyper simulate everything. You want to get a ballpark like probability. That's what you should be going for when you make a rule. You shouldn't be like, oh, and then a friend of mine and I started making a joke game one time because we were playing a game with a guy who was an actual Navy SEAL. And we got to this thing, we had a modifier for fighting underwater. And it became this like 3-hour lecture on actual underwater knife combat. Mm-hmm. And so we're like, okay, you explain this to us. And they were like, okay, so we take all this into consideration. Wait, minus 4, minus 5. Oh, yeah. So basically what we had, shut the fuck
up. Yeah, so I mean, at one of my tables when I was back in the Air Force, we had a guy that worked on biomedical equipment, and a lot of what that included were things like lasers and so forth. And anytime we were playing a science fiction game, and it's like you know what color laser is, and if it's chemical or light or whatever, it's like it's a pew pew. It's like, no, but I need to know because I can actually stop with this color. It will actually deflect that laser. Like, no, stop it. Like I get it. You're smart. You know about this stuff, but the rules, we can't simulate everything exactly as you said there. But I do get the desire to want to.
I believe the answer is that they were all doing this. Actually,
it's like the question of like if the squeeze is worth, is the juice is worth the squeeze, right? At some point, like,
yes.
Sometimes, like you said, I want to have like the weapon feel different, right? I want a rapier to feel different than a long sword and whatever, right? That's fine. You can put it out, but like at some point, like, oh, this like you don't do like every fucking weapon like every fucking different, right? Like those I'm gonna have like, you know, and the basic expert been a bit guilty of that. Not too bad, but like in this game got Cow Puncher, you got like fucking like 12 page of fucking guns, right? Well, and then they all like fucking pistol basically, right? Might be even more than that, and a lot of them like feel samey, but I think it's.
Yeah. Don't make yourself crazy, like convoluting a rule to the point where it's taking 4 times as long, and you're not going to notice the difference at the table at all.
So my objective is the term that I've been citing for Palladium for a long time now, but even when I'm writing mine, is I want to give you the framework to make adjudications. So it's going to have rules. It has specific abilities that you can do, but if you want to go outside of that, the framework is there for you to determine, is it hard, is it easy, how do I want to adjudicate this, and then you move on. I don't actually have to spell out the rule for everyone. All right, well, and then we have one more comment here early on. Mr. Mondo Hand says, Mr. Max, looking like a villain from The Fifth Element tonight.
Yeah, what was it? His name Zardon? No.
Emilio, was it Emilio? Goddamn, Sebastian Zerg? What the hell's his name?
Yeah, something with a Z.
All right, well. While he's looking that up, we are going to prep ourselves to get into segment 2. Let's start that with Mr. Max Boivin.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have the answer. Jean-Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg.
All right. Mr. Max Boivin is going to start us in the second conversation here where we're going to talk about managing the system mastery gap. So if you're out there like, okay, I get it. You know, some things, you know, maybe we need to learn a little, we have to have some system mastery. Maybe we have to learn the games a little more. Maybe there's simpler games and there are more complex games. But, okay, so how do we manage this? How do we make this work out for us? So, Mr. Max, option-heavy games, all right, often reward the player who studies the system the hardest, which can create a gap between optimized character builds and casual character creation. So let's talk about when that gap actually improves play, when it hurts the table, and how a GM can manage it either way.
Well, first off, I don't believe like in a mixed table, right? I believe like building a table should have like a similar expectation, similar style and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of like those mixed table. Like people say that, oh, you can have like the super tactical player and you can have the role player, work play. I think one of them is going to be unhappy all the time, right? So like, why would you want to mix that? They might be a friend, they might not be good match for each other, right? So there's that. Then you need to pick a system that you kind of have to level to the lowest expectation at some point. Right? If you're a player that you really want to play with that guy and he's not good with complex rules, well, then maybe you can use a simpler system, or have him play a simpler character, right? You don't want to have like the guy that barely learned the rules play the fucking wizard, right? So, well, if you want to play the wizard, you have to learn more rules. That's just part of the equation, right? So there's that. Then when you talk about rewarding, the reward in role play, I don't see it as just like, oh, I cause more DPS, oh, I kill more guy, oh, I'm more powerful. That's not the reward of role play. So if there's a gap in competency and there's a guy that can do more stuff, like, that doesn't matter. Is your character interesting to play? Do you feel like your character is evolving? Do you feel your character is having interesting thought pattern and conflict and stuff like that? You feel like you're going places with this guy, right? Do you feel immersed in that guy? That's where the reward is, and that has nothing to do with mechanics. You can play like a simple character. You can play a character that is like not super effective, but tag along and do what it can. That can be super rewarding, right? Because you have your flaw. I cannot do as much as this other guy that's super powerful, but I'm going to support him and I'm going to be there. And in the critical moment, I'm going to make a difference with my little the little weight I can carry, right? And that's rewarding because like you have this character that can overcome his limitation and stuff like that in a sense, right? So for me, like the mastery gap, oftentimes it's just a change of perspective, right? I don't hate player like that. I hate playing with them, right? I don't want. I have a different philosophy. I don't want to play with those kind of player, right? But I don't want to play with a guy that's gonna accuse another player of not carrying his weight in combat because you're playing wrong. You're playing your character wrong. Like I talk about test driving your turn, right? Another fucking thing I hate is turn by committee or like coaching another player, right? It's his fucking turn. Let him play his turn. Don't him tell him what to do, and don't complain. Oh no, you should have done that. Not like you have done twice as much damage. If you shut the fuck up, let him play his turn. You have your character. He has his character. Let us play his character. He's making his choice for his character, right? That's something that really pisses me off. So
yeah, I don't have a 7-second delay on my beep button. I'm just saying.
Oh, sorry for the swearing.
Okay.
I've been good. I haven't sworn once.
I know he beat you to it.
Yeah, I'm getting passionate now.
Both of them have.
Oh,
I missed Doc.
Potty mouth boys. Oh yeah, you did during your GURPS rant.
That's fine. No, go ahead, Mr. Max. Look, I don't. But just so folks out there, I don't have a strong rule that says you can't cuss. I just prefer they don't. That's all it is. So.
Except every time I do it, I get grief given to me. So, you have a hard rule for me.
Yeah, it's sorry. It's a bit hard for me because like it's not my first language too, right? So,
bull, you are no.
And when you learn a foreign language, you always learn the cuss words first. We get it.
Yeah, but also the cussing doesn't mean nothing for you, right? I don't have like an emotional attachment to the cussing, right? So for me, they're just words, right? Yeah, you see, like those I hear much more. But anyway, that's my point basically. Like the rewarding the gap. I think like the managing the gap. I think you should embrace it if you want. Make it part of your narrative, and that's the way to manage it. Make it interesting in itself, right? If you have like player that's gonna have like different gap, their character have different ability because the player have different ability, right? Different efficiency. Then make it part of the narrative and just like roll with it. And if at some point if the player is lagging behind, gets tired of that, then you can learn to play your character better, and that's going to be your character. Now suddenly he's catching on, right?
Okay.
Fair.
Anybody else want to jump in on, or do you want me to react?
I don't even remember the question after that answer.
All right. Well, I'll just the conversation topic is option-heavy games often reward the player who studies the system the hardest, that's fair, which can create a gap between optimized character builds and casual character creation. So let's talk about when that gap improves play and when it hurts the table and how the GM can manage or balance or whatever you feel he might need to do in that circumstance.
I am 100% in opposition to the nanny state GM. I am tired of it. I'm tired of players showing up like little doe-eyed creatures just wandering into the field. I'm just a player. Oh, oopsie poopsie. I don't know what to do. Please, Mr. GM, hold my hand through the Valley of Shadows. Get good, scrub. Get good.
Well, when you say
Right?
get good in that regard, what do you mean in that?
Take the time to read the bloody rules. Take the time, if you're not going to read all the rules, to read everything your character can do.
Okay.
No, you're the worst player ever. Shut up.
All you do is knock the mini around.
How do you knock the dice off the table? Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, so let me give you an example and just see how you handle this, Bear. If you'd have done it differently, if you just allowed it to play as is or whatever. I was coincidentally, as we were talking before the stream, I was actually in a World of Warcraft Dungeons & Dragons 3.0 game. In this game, one guy made an orc fighter. Absolutely, you couldn't be more optimized than what he did. He was good at that. He liked doing it. That was his thing. The other 5 of us made characters that all were viable in a normal sense, balanced and able to play. The problem was for the game master, any challenge that challenged the orc wiped us out. Anything that challenged us, that dude cleaned up on.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your not take I don't even want to say response. How would you handle or manage that situation, whether from the beginning or the middle, the end? How would you deal with that?
Well, okay, so I have one of these players, all right, and he is in 5e the player that we have banned him from playing rogues whenever we play
exactly
5e.
who we're talking about.
Right? We've just banned him. We're like, Renz, you can't play rogues anymore. Because every turn, it's like, Mr. Max, we do, okay, I attack and I'll move. Okay, what are you doing, Doc Flamingo? Well, I'm going to save my reaction in case he attacks me, but I'm going to just move and shoot an arrow. Okay, all right, Renzo, what are you doing? All right, so for my action, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. No, but for my bonus action, blah, 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 which because I'm a rogue, I can now blah, 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 blah. And it's just everyone sat back and went, for the love of God. Okay, everybody's turns done. All right, what 15 things are you doing? We just turned into a joke because it was the only way we could get. But he made a valid point. He's like, I like doing this. I enjoy learning the rules. Why am I being punished for learning the rules and learning the best way to play the game? And I was like, you know what? That's a fair point. You are taking the time to invest and to learn the game the way you think the game should be played, and you're really into all this stuff. So good for you. Guess what's not my job? To mitigate that. Mm-hmm. My job's to run the game. Now, if the game is so broken, D&D 3.5, where that someone who cannot be challenged by regular stuff, but the stuff that challenges them overwhelms the group, well, then that's a mistake of the GM to figure out the balance in between, because there is a middle ground. I know, me talking about the center again, but there is a middle ground where you can still challenge that guy a little bit and not overwhelm the other guys, and then save the big challenge for the big boss fight at the end, where that guy gets to shine as he's helping save the group and everybody else is taking the time to figure out what they can do. So I think you can mix them together. I don't think it's an either or.
Yeah. Also, creative GMing. A min-max character has a lot of min.
Oh, yeah.
So you create situations that exploit that.
Yep.
Put them in and keep putting them in situations where
the problem is like the min-maxer. The min-maxer get frustrated when you do that. When you push into their min, right? In their flaws.
Yeah, it's the only thing you got to do is to do these things that you know I can't do. Yeah.
I had that player. I had a guy who was playing a psionicist, right, in a marble game. Actually, Mutants and Masterminds game. And sadly, 3 episodes in a row, they fought artificial beings because there was a story plot developing about this robot that sent like an Ultron style story. And he got mad. He's like, oh, we're fighting something I can't affect again. I'm like, well, maybe you should have taken telekinesis. Maybe you should have not made your character so one note that the only way you were effective was if you fought one thing, and therefore nothing else was valid on the table. Don't get mad at me because you hyper-specialized your character.
And you know, when we talk about like player skills, right? For me, that's the player skill. For me, the player skill is not about like, oh, I'm good at reading the rules and like exploiting them. For me, the player skill is like, I'm good at finding fun even when a character is not effective. I'm good at finding something for my character to do, even when his power is not effective now, right? I'm good at still being impactful on the story. Those are fucking player skill you need to work on.
And yeah, a good player will figure out what they can do and exploit it. Like when I ran that the one game in Blood and Iron, Flynn played this Beastmaster, which had like 5 very simple abilities. He was like MVPing his way through almost every session because he was always finding a way to make it super useful to the group. So a good player will figure out how to work their character pretty quickly.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, sometimes as a GM, you try and find the middle ground to please as many people as you can, but at the end of the day, you're not there to babysit them. You're there to run a game. And if they went and made characters that are ineffectual, then that's on them.
And
that's not on you.
And as a GM, you're gonna compromise. They have to compromise as well. The players also have fucking duties, right? You're not there to entertain them. You're not a service provider. You're there to play a game with your friend, right? Presumably. So they also have to, I'm gonna put some water in my wine, not literally, obviously, but you have to do it too, right? Just like.
So what ended up happening, Arte? First of all, the game master did a really good job of kept us. I don't want to say split, but keeping him challenged where we had stuff to do. The tone of the game was meant to be a more role playing style game, so that's why we were kind of angry that because it was more the attitude that this guy had over it, which was like, just because you don't know how to make a character and I do, what? We made the characters we were supposed to. They're vetted by the game master, and he actually liked our characters. So I don't think we necessarily did anything wrong in this. But his attitude the entire time was like what Bear was saying earlier in the stream. Get good scrub. It wasn't about get good scrub. It was about playing characters that we thought would be fun and were all viable. Just because we didn't synergize every perfect feat, put those points exactly to get the attributes exactly the right way, like. That isn't how I'll ever play a role-playing game personally. But the game master did a good job of balancing that. Go ahead, sorry.
And that's what a GM master's job is to balance it, is to find a way to make your characters viable, to challenge the other character, and make sure everybody has a good time. That's your job as a GM.
Yeah, but I'll be honest. No, the one last part to this, that the guy who played the orc, he was pissed. He thought we all sucked, didn't know how to play the game properly, was bored because all he got to do was kill everything all the time. Like, yeah. So anyway,
that's what you wanted to do.
Right.
You made that character.
Yeah, and there's things you can do. If somebody is like a super combat monster, you have the boss enemy and the minions, and you divvy people up that way. There are things you can do to deal with that.
Yep.
So here's a question for the panel here, starting with Mr. Max. Should experienced players help optimize weaker builds, or should they just let each player learn through play?
I'm willing to learn to like, if the player, if like a player asks outside of the game, right, another player, right, oh, I don't know this game that well, can you help me? Like, that's fine, right? Then yes. In play, like I said earlier, shut the fuck up. Don't tell him how to play his character, right? You play your character, let him play his character, right? What they do outside of the game, when I'm not there to witness it, I don't mind, right? What you do in the privacy of your own home, I don't fucking care.
Witness me.
Yeah. But and I don't think it should be needed. I don't think he should do it. I think he can do it. But I don't think. Sorry, I swear again. I don't think he should do it. It's not his job to mentor the player that lag behind, right? Like.
What about a player at the table? It's his turn.
Yeah.
And he does have a little analysis paralysis. And here, let's say it's me, and I'm sitting here like I could do A or B. But Mr. Max, should I do A or should I do B?
If I'm the GM and you do that, right?
I already know
Max
this.
you up. And then you say, I don't know if I should do duck you up. That's it. That's how it's solved. You don't know. That's what your character is doing. Your analysis paralysis, and you don't.
Okay,
know
how about for a brand new player?
Brand new player, I tell them up front. I tell them, like, when it's your round, you tell me where you are, you tell me what you do, you tell me what you say, right? And that's your turn. And if you don't know what to do, that's a perfectly fine turn. Those are good turns. Not all turn has to be optimal. It adds so much to fiction when they say, like, sometimes even like when we have this rule, you don't ask questions to the GM, right? And because like there's no GM to ask, your character interact with the world to get information about the world. And I always say, right, sometimes like, oh, I don't know, is there like 3 guards standing or 4 guards standing, right? it's perfectly fine to say like, I peek from the cover and I count how many guards are still up, and then the GM is going to give you the answer, right? There's still 3 and 1 down and stuff like that, and then like everybody at the table can learn right from that. But that was your turn. That's what your character did during this turn. You peeked up from the cover and you reassess the situation. Perfectly fine turn, and it keep the action going at a fast pace. I'm obsessed with fast pace when I play, right? And when it's an action scene, I want the action scene to be fast. I want it to go right. So sometimes your turn it's kind of wasted, but it's not wasted. You brought information to everybody that maybe was unclear for you, and then like it's somebody else to do. And you see that in movie too, right? Sometimes that's what something somebody do, right? Just like, okay, I quickly count. Okay, oh, there's still 2 guys there. You move there beyond the barrel, right? And then you can translate the information to your teammate, and then he can do something. Those are fine.
Yeah, I haven't made a Malachi joke in a while, so I'm going to make that. Nothing is more fun as a GM than say, okay, what do you do? And they go,
You awake?
Nothing makes you feel more accomplished than that moment where you ask the player what they do on their turn and they can't even talk.
I never had this problem, but like, you know, like first, like
if you run Malachi in the game.
No, maybe if you get them to talk, right, by saying like, okay, like, you know, tell me where you are. Start with that.
Okay, but whoa. Why should I have to turn the turn into a hostage negotiation?
Yeah. Please add catatonic seizures to your disadvantage list.
Yeah.
No, but like you just say like, okay, I'm hiding behind the pillar. Then at least now you start fucking saying something. Oh, sorry, swearing again. You started saying something, right?
I agree.
And then that might get you.
I'm not here to talk the jumper off the ledge. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's like at some point in time, especially when you're a veteran player or a seasoned player.
Oh, you have to jump.
Yeah, exactly. Jump. Thank you. Hey, offer him a cigarette and then you pull both of you into the airbag. Lethal weapon. But anyway, anyway, the point is that if you pardon me, if you have to walk a veteran player through their round, there's a bigger problem at present.
Yeah, but it's also
new players are different. New players get baby gloves. They always should get baby gloves.
But
they're new players.
But also, I'm a firm believer. Like I think also you need to take like I like to take the pressure off of having the perfect turn, right? And I don't tolerate that, and I don't tolerate the player that's gonna criticize another player because their turn was suboptimal, right? It happens. You're in a scrum, you're in combat, you're in action, stuff like that. People do weird shit. People freeze. People like don't know. So suboptimal turn are part of the game, and they're fun, and they add to the tension, they add to the drama. So that's one thing, because that's one thing with that bring the analysis paralysis is like the new player got all those options, doesn't know what to do, and you want to do the best thing possible, and you have to say like, no, just tell me, like, get in your mindset of the character, imagine yourself, and imagine like you're this character in this situation, and tell me what you do, and then we're gonna educate from that, right?
We used to just say, how do you react when somebody does X, and just kind of recount the scene that's going on around them? How would you react to that? And when, and again, I love my groups that I've had because they would say it more than I do. Somebody looked down, oh, no, it's not on your character sheet. How would you react to that?
Yeah, it's in your mind eyes, right? You see the situation in your mind, from the eyes of your character. You're there. So that's why we start, like, tell me where you are, right? So that put them back in, okay, I'm hiding behind this pillar. I look over and try to shoot at the first guy I see. That's fine. There you go. You did something. Congratulations. Now roll some dice and we educate what happened.
You just got to encourage people to just keep things moving along.
Yeah.
Because people in actual crisis situations do stupid shit all the time. Because you've got to react. So that's part of it.
So, Doc, did you get an opportunity to actually answer the question? I can say it again if you want.
Give me.
Yes. Should experienced players help optimize weaker builds, or let players just learn through play?
If they're asked to, and it doesn't interrupt the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like players like. Yeah, I do not like people backseat driving other people's players. I'll stomp on that. But awesome. I mean, if somebody's like new to the game, just give say, Max, what do you? No, I'm fine with that. With like a new player, somebody's like doing like a character type, they haven't, as long as it doesn't become like a huge, disruption. But it's is the game still moving along? is basically what it comes down to. And as much of that as possible should be done like between the sessions too.
Right. So that's what I used to do is I used to write it down and say, remind me to tell such and such, he could have done this and this. But I don't even like doing it during play at all. Just personally, I don't like doing that because I want him to continue being organic with this character. And just, you know what, if you made a mistake, I wouldn't even call it that. If you did something that's weird. So let's use today. So I played in a game today at work. And one of the things that I was struggling with is the other players and even the game master are like, okay, you get one action to do this, you get another action to that. When I play Pathfinder, I refuse to talk like that. I just refuse to do it.
Yeah.
I say, I'm going here and I'm going to peek in and do the stuff, right? And it's like, okay, well, what are your actions? I don't care. That's your job to figure out. For me, I'm telling you what it is that I'm trying to do. When your game is so based on these actions and reactions and bonus actions and all this other stuff, to me, you lose me. And I don't want to talk in action form. I want to talk about my character and what he's doing. And then you say, well, you can't move any further than that. So you're at this spot. Make me a roll to do XYZ that you were trying to do. Okay, do it. And you're done. All right, moving on to the next person. Totally fine.
Yep.
But
yep. Don't look at the button you can press on your character sheet, right?
Right.
Tell me what your character do, and I'll tell you if you need a roll, what to roll, right? And then you can look. But just tell me what you want to do.
Yeah, a lot of that comes down to like taste. I mean, some people like the skirmishy style games, but there's a lot of things, and that's fine. I personally don't like that much. Like, for example, I would never play Pathfinder at a table. I like the Pathfinder video games. I think it fits that very nicely. I would never want to play it at the table, though.
No,
I like skirmish games.
What's that?
I like skirmish games. I have no issue with that.
I like that.
No, but hang on. Let me finish my point. I think, though, and this is probably going to be one of the most pretentious things I'll ever say. Here.
Clip it.
Yeah, get ready to clip it.
It's a high bar.
I spent 20 years. Go fuck yourself. There you go. You made me swear. You happy? No, I finally broke. You fucking French cunt. All right. Wow. I spent 20 years as an actor. More than that, actually, professionally. I've gotten my theater bug out of me. When I play games, I remember that they're called games. When I design games, I remember that I'm designing games, not theater kid exercises, right? So for me, I like stuff like action economies or, if then this and stuff. I like that stuff. I enjoy that stuff. It's fun. It makes the game more interesting. It gives the players something tactical that they can get their brain around a little bit and use. Now it's a matter of taste, as Doc said. It's 100% a matter of taste. But I love good role playing. You guys know that. I love great role playing. But I like a mix because to me it's still a game at the end of the day, not an improv exercise. I
guess where I draw the line on that, Bear, because I want to say I agree with what you're saying, is when the player feels that he has to optimize, like what Doc was talking about, have to optimize every turn, and instead of doing something natural, is doing something to the character sheet instead of to the character.
I agree, but players are going to play it differently because I have people that are playing, say, in the Heroic 5e playtest right now, who are absolutely just, it's my turn, I move, I use my at-will power, and I'm good. Oh, he attacks you. Oh, I think I have a reaction. Oh, and they're fine. And then there's the players who are like, no, I got to optimize my turn. Hey, that's a player taste. That's not a GM taste for me. That's a player taste. And I don't think either distracts or detracts from the game overall. I think they just encounter it in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. I think it's fine.
I think 90% of the time you're right, but there's that 10% of time where everybody at the table is looking at the player going, why would you do that? That makes no sense. Because I get a +4 instead of a +2. Wait, what? Like,
yeah, I've never encountered that because I curate my tables better than that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. My main thing is, if a character really wants, if a player really wants to like do the complex like turn, fine, but you need to be Johnny on the spot with it. I won't have this like existential crisis going on. Well, if I do, no. If you want to get all complicated, that means you need to know your shit. Just like to actually do that in real life, this actual complicated thing in real life, you would need to know your shit.
you see, like we're often accused of like not caring about the rules, right? But it's not true. We follow the rules when we play games because, like, yes, they are games and it's part of the games, right? It's like having those rules. The thing we don't do is we don't discuss rules at the table, right? So when we play the game, we use the rules, but we use them in a transparent manner as much as possible. And one thing that we do when we want to try a new system, we all read the system on our side, and then when we do the session 0, one thing we discuss about when there's rules that are a little more complex and stuff like that is how we deal with that rule without it interfering with the narrative, right? With the fiction. So we discuss that. We say, like, okay, like there's the rules a little more complex. Like, the initiative in this game is a little more complex. How do we deal with this without it like breaking the flow of what we like to do? Because we like to do a very specific thing, right? And we know what we like to do. So we discuss together to find those solutions, and so usually we can make it work.
Don't be shy about having, if it's a particularly complex game or people are new to it, don't be shy about doing like test runs on systems.
Absolutely, and also to fit a Max Liao type situation of I want to do this and this and this. Okay, roll. Your DC is this. I'm a huge fan of here's your target, roll your dice, see if you succeed. I'm a big fan of that, but I'm also willing to let the player who goes, but because I have, gloom fan, blah, 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 I can dorky dork. Okay, go ahead and dorky dork. Roll your dice, tell me if you win.
Just don't be flipping through the book at the table when you're doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I dorky dork every day.
You are the dorkiest of the dorky dorks.
We all agree on that? Don't flip through the book at the table?
We all agree on that.
Yes.
We all agree on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So take 5 minutes, figure out your character, and then take a notepad, which we've discussed repeatedly, and write down everything your character's abilities allow them to do if you're playing a game that has that kind of stuff. And if they have DCs or what's DC? Difficulty challenge, I think is what it means, DC?
Yeah.
Something like that. Or if it has like target numbers, write those down as well. In Heroic 5e, one of the things I'm writing is an appendix on how to speed up combat, right? How to speed up gameplay. And in the game, I have a thing called momentum, which is if you get 5 over your target number, you get a strong success. There's a momentum effect you can pick, right? Like I knock them prone, I do this, I do that, right? And then there's if you get 10 or higher, you get a heroic effect, and those are a bit more wow. And one of the things I'm putting is maybe write down your 3 most standard of those. So every time you find yourself in that position, if you can't really make a decision, you already have 3 written on your character sheet, and you're good to go. And that's your character's style.
Yep. And that's the thing I really like with the doing my character sheet in Notepad. I make note on on that, right? Like if I have a spell like that, I'm gonna take I don't copy what I found in the SRD. I rewrite it in my own word in short form, bullet point, right? Okay, this what I need to know. So if I use a spell, I know I don't need to flip. I have it right here.
Yes.
Oh, I have the spell. Agreed. I can use it, right?
Front load.
Yeah.
So
do your work as a player.
One of the good things about front loading also is the fact that since you're front loading it, you're exposed to it. You're using another sense. You're not just reading it. Now you got that tactile sense so that you're writing it down. More probability to remember it. Look, in AD&D 2nd edition, I have the wizard cards. I used to use them constantly because, I was too lazy to write them all down. but I would have my wizard cards ready to go in my levels and so forth. And I wrote a few of them that I had to because, they didn't have every spell literally in the game, just in the player's handbook. But I'm with you guys 100% on that. But Doc brought up something that I want to do is our last follow-up question for this. So Mr. Max, it starts with you. When do option-heavy characters, and I'm kind of asking for a specific here, okay? At least for the folks out there to judge from. So when do option-heavy characters start slowing combat planning, or I hate this term, but everybody uses it, table pacing?
I talked about it before, but for me, it's when you need to validate a lot of things, if you can or cannot use a power or stuff like that, right? When it's not transparent to play, if you can just say, I do this, and then we adjudicate it. We use this power, this option you have, this ability you have, and then we can just deal with it. That's fine. If it's super complex that you need to explain every time you use it, then that's a problem. That's still on. But the worst is if the player can never be sure if he can use it or not, because there's all those different conditions, right? And then he has to ask 20 questions before they go, right? You have to ask like the GM a bunch of questions or other player a bunch of questions before he can use his power, right? For me, this is the worst. This is like, I hate that. We played a game of that's something we had to deal with when we played a game of Dagger Art, right? Because we wanted to see what it was about. And there's a lot of that in there, right? So, wait, what you just did, can I use my power because you just did that? Or they even have those rules, those options for like tag team move, right? It's in the rules like that. You can, at the start of the rules, you can like prepare those move, those tag team move. And now you're into the turn by committee. Before, instead of going around the table, everybody saying what they say, now you say, oh, I'm going to do a tag team. Well, let's do a tag team move together. And now you're out of the fiction. You're back around the table talking with a bunch of fucking nerds about what would be cool to do this turn, right? No, just play the game. Just do something. Like you're in fucking combat. You don't have time to plan, to strategize and stuff like that. I hate those kind of options. Like I said, it's something that we see more and more in gaming nowadays. I don't like this trend. But some people like it, I guess. So
also, I think a lot of people don't game test shit.
Yeah,
they just
play testing is a lost art.
This is a neat idea. And it becomes this huge.
Yeah, but I don't think a lot of game designers play test their games anymore either. But hang on, I'm a huge fan of team combos, but that's because I run superhero games primarily, and that's a big part of superheroes, right? So that's a different beast. But anyway, look, at the end of the day, I forget what the question was.
When do option-heavy characters start slowing down combat, planning, or pacing?
When they demand all the attention, and you as a GM don't have the ability to just say, roll the dice, and move on from there. Like some points you got to just say, hey, Doc, it's great that you put all this effort into your character, but we've been watching you for 5.5 minutes. Can we please move on with the game now? Can you stop, please? Or know what your character can do in advance, and then just do it. Back to my initial point of the night, system mastery.
Yeah. Can I just enter, because you say I'm a big fan of team combo, right? But when you're in combat, it's time to execute them. You plan them ahead, right? Outside of combat.
No, not always. Sometimes it could be an opening. Sometimes it could be an opening. You see the opening, and so Captain Catman, and the Doc Flamingo are fighting the bank robbers, and one of the guys drops the clip out of his gun, presenting an opening in their ranks. And Doc Flamingo looks at Captain Catman and goes, as his bonus action to speak, I'm going to throw you at them. And he goes, okay. They do the move.
I'm fine because this is still in the time of combat. This is still move through combat. What I don't like in Dagger Art is it's like time outside of time, right?
Look, here's what I don't like in Dagger Heart. Okay.
So I don't know if he's watching.
Picking one of the worst games designed in the modern age as the reason why things don't work is low-hanging fruit.
It's a very popular one, though.
Yeah, is it though? Is it really? It's sold a lot. Who's playing it?
A lot.
Yeah, that's fair. That's actually, I asked that about a lot of games.
Every time when I go to do my show, I do my prep. I go on the Reddit RPG to see what people are talking about. They always talk about Dagger Art. Although,
Reddit is a cesspool of idiots. What do you want me to say, man? You picked the lowest hanging fruit game and the lowest hanging fruit social media interface. I mean, come on.
We might have some Redditors watching.
Doesn't make it a good thing.
So just to kind of piggyback on that point a little bit, in the Earth Dawn game that I ran for I ran a bunch in the Air Force, and my big group at Andrews, Eric, I don't know if he's watching. He tends to watch on occasion. If you're watching, I'm going to say one of the things you did, because he had so many abilities after a while, and instead of just labeling them all off, he kind of had them broken down. I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this. Now, I'm not going to lie, it kind of broke role-playing a little bit, but it was funny in how he did it. But he had his cheeseburger, his double Whopper with cheese, his quarter, and we knew what that meant. It's like, okay, spend your karma, spend your strain, and go ahead and do it. We knew it meant if he's using Great Leap, or if he's just diving in with aggressive attack, or whatever it happened to be. He just took all those abilities and just gave them little names, that he knew what all that meant, and we knew what that meant too.
Cool. That's awesome. I love that. I had a Marvel game back in the late 80s, early 90s, where they were playing a team for so long together, they actually sat down and drew like almost football plans. You know what I mean? Like, okay,
Nice.
if the mentalist is here, the speedster goes to the flank, and then the brick punches through the front line. They had like all these if-end situations they did. It was hilarious.
That's
It was
fine.
fun.
That's fine. I don't like when they do that. Like, then when they stop combat to do those.
Yeah, no, that's silly.
Yeah.
There's no
I got it.
timeout, right?
Doc, anything you wanted to add to when window option heavy characters start slowing down combat planning or pacing?
Not really. I mean, just
Okay.
know your shit.
All right,
Know what you can
seriously.
do.
Seriously. Every answer to every question we have tonight is system mastery. System mastery. System mastery.
But
There
that is
is-
actually the topic of tonight. When is system mastery? You know, when I say,
don't-
when
your
is
limit.
when is it too complex for system mastery, or when is it wrong for the table?
And I've answered that question.
Sure.
Aftermath.
I've answered.
I
Nobody's
would add to
ever
that,
played
like,
Aftermath. I've seen. I
No.
haven't played it.
Nobody has ever successfully played Aftermath by the rules.
I would add to that, like, know your limit and don't bite off more than you can chew, right? Like, that's also like, if you're not willing to learn the rules and play something simple,
Fake.
a simple game, a simple character, yeah.
Okay.
Jenga.
Figure out what-
Play Jenga.
Hey,
Yeah,
there's
play
a game.
Jenga.
I forget what it's
Rock,
called
paper,
out there, but it
scissors.
actually uses
Dread.
Jenga as
Dread.
yeah,
It's called
Dread.
Dread.
uses Jenga as its mechanic.
Yeah. It's a party game.
All
That's
right.
That's why I push back against it's not on your character sheet. Write down what your character can do on the character sheet. It's on your character sheet. I am not a wizard. I do not have spells in my head. I'm sometimes going to have to look at my character sheet, guys, to see what my spell can do, because I might not remember it exactly. That's fine. I don't get this. It's not on the sheet, it's in your head. This isn't a fucking struggle session. This isn't a proof of your manhood. It's a game.
All right. In our third
What are you
conversation,
staring at me like that for, Frenchie?
I couldn't reply. Yeah, because like the fact that you want to cast a spell, right? That's in your mind, right? And then you look at what spell you have, and like, no, that's fine, that's fair, right? Like you would look in your spell book or whatever, right? So I'm okay with that.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, let's move on here. In our third conversation, our panelists will talk about what success looks like after many sessions. But before we do that, who won you over this round and why? Put it in the comments. If you're walking away with a new idea or trick for your table, we want to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to share this video with your communities and friends and use that hype button to help us get this conversation trending. Without your monetary support, there will be no more Game Master Insight in 2027. And finally, you or someone you know may make an amazing panelist. Sign up on the GMI Discord, read the rules, and find a panel topic that interests you. Folks, my shot glass has been empty all day today. All day it's been empty. And after a game of Saga Edition Star Wars, I could really use a shot.
I've been drinking for free.
What does that say about you? All right, now let's finish this segment with your super
I'm not a
chats
whore.
and member comments. Okay, we already did that one. That should have gone away. Bear has been a member for 4 months. This is the only reason he gets on the show, folks, is because he's a member. I kid. Somebody be like, that's why.
I only do it because I like to annoy the audience who don't like me.
Daryl Errett says optimizing turns kills the pace. Interesting. What do you guys think?
No. If you know what you're doing, optimizing turns actually makes the pace go faster.
Yeah.
Because it goes ting, 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 ting,
Yeah.
and then you have the result.
Yeah, if you're good at it, like, if it's transparent, then who cares, right? Do the most optimal turn you can do. If you
So
do
maybe
it,
a
like,
better way of saying that is
in a fluid
sitting
way.
there calculating all your optimizations kills the pace.
Yes. Optimizing in the moment kills it. Absolutely.
If you did it during like other players' turn, then come your turn, say, okay, I'm doing this, and that, and then it's super optimal and stuff like that, and then you're done. Well, it didn't kill the pace, right? But it's like when you're trying to optimize a turn and you don't know how, and now it's your turn. It's, oh wait, what if I do this? And like that killed the fucking pace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or it just kills the pace.
Yes. But with less impact. Sorry, at some point I'm going to learn.
So flipping through the book is okay, just not on your turn.
Agreed.
I don't agree with that, actually.
Oh.
Because I want you to listen to the other people's turn.
I'm
Because
kind of
if you
with
flip-
you on that. I'm
you
not
flip through the
hardcore about
book-
it, but I'm kind of with you on that.
If you flip through the book during other people's turn, when your turn's going to come, I'll have to resume what happened during those other people's turn because you weren't paying attention. And that kills the pace, right? So that's the problem I have. Listen to what people do.
But what if I can multitask? I can flip through the book on not my turn and listen at the same time.
No, you can't.
Oh, wow, okay.
People say they can multitask, they fucking can't. Sorry. I'm swaying too much now.
You're not allowed to drink anymore. Remember, there is a rule about drunkenness. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, no, he's right, though. The human mind cannot focus on two separate tasks at the same time. So you can compartmentalize or task switch, but you can't multitask.
Yeah.
But you don't have to explain the round to them. All right, Doc, it's your turn. Oh, what's going on? I believe we just went through all that. What are your character doing? Shit.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. I'm going to reassess the battlefield. Okay,
That's fair.
now I'll tell you what's going on.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, my counter to that is I have literally done listening to what's going on in the group, staying engaged in the game, and looked up stuff at the same time, but okay.
Whatever, Spurg.
But when you have like the faster pace you have at the table, and that's what we're talking about, like keeping the pace, right, and stuff like that. The faster pace you have, the harder it gets. Like
sure, I'm not going to say that you're wrong there, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like that's something I see a lot when we watch like actual play, right? That's something we see a lot. Somebody take a turn, right? Somebody test drive their turn. So now they're doing, oh, what if I do this? What if I do that? Okay, I'm gonna do this, right? So their turn takes very long. So people checked out, right? So now they stop listening. And there's a bunch of stuff that have been said that were hypothetical, right? Oh, what if I would do this, right? So now like nobody knows what actually happened. Then somebody else takes a turn, do the same thing. Now the GM has to repeat what actually happened because, like, not.
If that's
But when
happening,
you
I
have,
agree with you 100%.
When you have a game that is fast paced, right? We go to a turn, it takes like a minute or a minute and a half, right? Where 3 players, it's gonna take like 30 seconds each, like at most, right? So you don't have time to flip through the book, and it's your turn again. By the time you grab the book, it's your turn again. So be ready.
I forgot the L. Google hypothetical, Jess. Doc doesn't do these things. I'm using him as an example because he's here.
No, I think Doc does all this stuff. He actually said he kills his players.
He did.
Not the characters, the players. He keeps the character sheets.
I put it.
Just kind of washes the blood off of it.
They were dirty mortals to begin with. What matters if they died today or a year from now?
Remember, folks, keep your players fenced in.
That's right.
And shot callers, especially online.
I want a shocky monkey. Daryl says, too complex when you have to open the book at the table.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Or lack of system mastery.
Yeah. I mean, every now and then you have to check something, but if somebody's like making a habit of that, it's a problem.
I am also a believer that like if a game is well designed, even if you don't know the exact rule for something, usually you can kind of guess, and then you can check after the game, and if the game is well designed, it's going to be close enough that it didn't matter, right? It's just going to throw you a curveball like, oh wow, I did that completely wrong, right? Because like there's supposed to be a certain logic to the rules, right? So if you understand how the games work,
and if you've got spells or powers that have a lot of like situational like factors, make a point of knowing them.
And take notes.
Yep.
Yeah, on your.
Okay. Well, then, with that, we are about to bring in Doc Flamingo to kick off our third segment here, our third and final conversation that focuses on what success looks like after many sessions. This is kind of a generic segment that I try to have in all of the episodes because we want to have an end result here at some point. So, everything we've discussed today about complexity, budget, or games that have too many options or whatever, we're going to see what the end result, what is it we're all looking for in the end, so to speak. So, Doc, a huge menu of character options can feel exciting during character creation. Especially, you know, those people who make those 3rd edition sorcerers and they've like plotted everything out to level 20. And oh my God, don't you dare break that synergy that they've already set up at level 1 all the way to the end. But the real test comes after many sessions. Let's look at whether those choices still create better play, stronger character development, and the smoother sessions over the long haul in your experience. What are your thoughts?
What does success look like? Everybody joking and laughing and talking about what happened during the session afterwards. That's when you know it was a successful.
So that's good for a general, you know, game. But in terms of, you know, specifically when it comes to like these character options or complex character sheets over the long term, and you, I mean, there's still a similar answer to that, I suppose. But how does that look?
I'm not sure I'm understanding how the question is worded.
Well, I mean, so something that maybe I would say is they're still excited to play the characters, or still looking forward to the new powers that they could get or that they have, or, you know, stuff like that. I mean, what does success look like to you? Because, you know, there could be players like, oh my God, dude, like this was fun at first, but now I'm just doing calculus every day. Can we please stop this?
Again, I think this just comes back to matching the players in the game.
Okay.
Ultimately, I think it's I mean, that sounds a little bit like a cop-out answer, but I think it ultimately just comes down to that. I mean, everybody's got to be on the same page there. Because if you're like just submitting to a game because that's what's been put in front of you, I mean, you're going to lose interest. So, I mean, it's the game master has to just feel out the situation as they go, and it's like, okay, this is starting to wear, so wrap it up.
Okay, so let me approach this from a different angle, because I think you're onto something here. What would make you personally reduce available options in, say, the campaign going forward, or your next campaign with the same game?
Heavy-handedness and railroading. And that sounds awful, but I mean, if things are just going crazy, I will just kind of put up some roadblocks, make certain options unavailable, which, I mean, for the most part, I like to avoid doing, but every now and then things are going crazy in a million directions. Every now and then you got to just add a complication that kind of forces their hand just to get things back on track and then kind of loosen it back up again.
All right. Max, Bear?
What I like to see with character development, right? Obviously, like for me, the most important character development is like the character personality and stuff like that, like the character evolving, the character having arcs and stuff like that. But for mechanical engagement, I like when they're linked to stuff that happen in the game as well, right? I don't like build. I like, well, you learn that skill because you needed that for that situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need that to face that enemy or to face that kind of threat. That for me is where the success happen. I like also one thing I like is for when we talk about complexity, I like mechanics that have depth more than width, right? Like I like game design that I've like. I don't like when you have like a bunch of options that are, oh, you can do this now and it's resolved in that way. No, I like when it's like the rule is simple. It look like a little thing you can do, but the way you apply it is interesting, right? The way you apply the way what you can do with it, the way it interacts with other rules and stuff like that, and you discover those. I got this little thing. I can change the rules a little bit with this ability I have now. But then I find out the consequence of that and become more powerful by that, right? For me, that's what's interesting. That's a big success of character development. And one thing I really like we did like when we're doing the 4D stuff, right? We're accused of it only worked for one shot and stuff like that. So at some point we decided, you know what, we're gonna do a longer campaign, and we did the Horizon game, and we decided to go with a simpler system, EZD6. And EZD6 doesn't really have advancement rules, right? So we discussed that in session 0, and we said, okay, what we're gonna do for advancement if we're gonna play a longer campaign, and we cooked up something that would work. But then at some point, there were so much advancements in the character personality in the arc, in the contact we did, in the improvement with the ship we had, the gear we got, stuff like that. That we realized we didn't need the stuff on the character sheet. And one thing also I really like is like I was the pilot, right? And our ship at first didn't have weapon at all. But at some point I would try something and where we're being attacked, and I try some maneuver with the ship to defend ourselves, and then turned out it worked. Well, now that's something that it's not on the character sheet, but it's something now I know I can do that might have some effect, right? I might use the reactor of the ship to try to burn somebody in the face, right, or whatever, right? So this is advancement that is like purely narrative, but in the same time, it gave something to my character that he can do. My character figure out, well, what if I try to do this, and well, it's effective, and now I can do this, I guess, right? It's just something I can do. So for me, that's what success and progression look like. I hope that answer your question. I don't know if you.
Sure, I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Just to bounce off what Max is saying, like games that like level-based games where you're accumulating powers and stuff like that that's like a big dopamine hit early on in the play, but eventually it just a lot of it becomes clutter. Especially, it's much better to have 3 really interesting options than 10 just like pointless peripheral things going.
I'm going to jump in and disagree with both these guys on this one. Character choice is a good thing, and having choices is a good thing, and then they get to make the character they want as they progress through. It may seem like clutter, but again, going back to my initial statement, system mastery, it's not clutter, it's options, and there's nothing wrong with options.
Yeah, but like sometimes, like it's like you get the grease spell, and then now you can create grease, and that's fine and dandy. But at some point, when you figure out that the grease is flammable, well, now you didn't get anything, but now you have like you have something more you can do with it, right? Like those are interesting too. And I think it's unfortunate when the book tell you the grease is flammable too, right? Or directly stuff like that, because you don't get to figure it out. But
it plays so differently.
What about this? So this is for Mr. Max and Doc for just a moment here, based on what Bear is saying. I'm saying it as a statement, but I'm really asking you guys the question if is this what you're saying, but when abilities become useless, like, I had this ability at first level, or I got this ability at 3rd level, but by 8th level, I don't need it anymore because I got something better. It's just clutter on the character sheet.
Never is. Just be more clever with what you can do, right? And like
but that's a basic of good game design.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Things should scale.
Not necessarily. Like sometimes you can have something that's new that is purely better, but it's limited. So you have a
okay, but let's use Magic Missile, right?
Yeah.
Magic Missile didn't used to scale. Now it scales.
Yeah.
Right? That was one of the big improvements they made. So Magic Missile remained useful from level 1 all the way to level 20 because it got better as it went.
Yep.
D&D is the biggest failure for this type of stuff normally because it gives you all this stuff at 1st level, 2nd level, 3rd level. If you play past 10th level, a lot of this stuff you're not going to use because it won't be effective, right? Yep. So that's why I say scalable. If it scales, it can remain effective. Now, if you're clever, that's a different beast. That's a whole other beast. You can't design that cleverness into a game.
But to use D&D as example again, when you on the spell you have, the 5th level spell you have might be like absolutely better than the 1st level spell you have, but you can cast 1.
Yeah, I agree. That's a limit. Yeah,
you still have to use those lower level spells sometime, right? And you have to choose, well, maybe I don't want to use my big banger right now. So there's that too, right?
Big banger.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, you guys? Because I don't really have a lot of follow-ups on this one because you answered them throughout the course of discussion here. But anything else, like Bear? What would make you reduce available options the next time you ran a game or campaign, or even maybe during that campaign if you're like, ooh, this is getting out of hand?
No, I don't. One of the things I hated about the old AD&D tournament modules was the list of spells you can't cast at the beginning of the module because they'll ruin the module. Well, then write a better module. You know?
What about me? There's one spell that will never be in any D&D game I ever run ever.
Which is?
True Seeing.
Why?
Oh yeah.
I had it ruin too many things.
No,
Mostly
that's fair.
mostly pre-written modules. Not the stuff that I ran, but I removed True Seeing from all of my worlds and all of my games.
Yeah.
Well, I think a big problem with D&D is with all the constant inflation with the new spells. A lot of them got ridiculous.
Well, they
Yep.
got to sell you
After a
fucking.
point.
They got to sell you new books.
Ding.
Yeah. Sorry.
Every
All right,
time Max Boivin swears, a devil gets his wings.
Anything else you guys want to say to wrap this up for tonight before we get segment 4 and start inviting folks in?
I'm good.
Because I think right now, if I keep asking questions, we're just going to be beating a dead horse. I think you guys answered succinctly and wonderfully that.
There's one thing I want to say, like, you know, like Bear often quote this thing about like the media being the message, right?
Medium.
And I think
medium.
the medium being the message. Sorry,
Yeah.
media is plural of medium.
Yeah.
The medium is the message, and I think that's very true. Like in role playing game, and people like forget that nowadays. And you know, video games used to copy role playing game, right? The goal of early video games was oftentimes like to bring like the experience of role playing game to the computer. But now it went the other way around. Now like you have like a role playing game that tried to copy video game, and it's a different medium. And it should have different rules and different mechanics and stuff like that.
Yep.
Something that works well in video games don't work well, and that's something I think that's a big problem where we see like all this complexity sometimes seeping in now, like that can be harmful to the role playing experience in a sense, right?
Well, one of the things that
Doesn't
you
mean
know,
it's
you
not
guys
fun,
know I
but-
harp on. We talked about even before the stream started. I just despise the D20,
Yeah.
the 3.0, 3.5 system. But I will say
know that.
it is probably the best computer games out there.
Agreed.
Knights of the Old-
Like Doc was saying, I don't want to play the tabletop Pathfinder, but the video games are fun.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Just remember, Knights of the Old Republic, one of the most popular games ever made, at least at the time, is just Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition. Well, okay, it's Star Wars version of that, but you get a lot of those games. Icewind Dale, Temple of Elemental Evil, are all 3.0 constructs. They make great computer games.
Mhm.
All right, Doc and Bear, any final words from you guys?
Plastics. Invest in plastics.
Get them out of your nuts, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Put them in mine. More microplastics.
All right. Well, up next in segment 4, we allow you, our live audience, to jump in and talk to our panelists about tonight's topic. And I'll put the URL out there for you guys to join. We'll wait for a few folks to pop on in here. So, which panelist made the case you didn't see coming? Was there a take that actually shifted how you think about running games at your table? Maybe being more complex or not worrying about complexity, or maybe I don't need this complexity. Let's take it out. Drop it in the comments. Right now is the time to become a legitimate channel member. We have multiple options. And yes, I even have people for some reason membered at the $25 level. Are you going to be the first? Are you going to be the one and only person that comes in at the $99.99 level? You know you want to do it. Check out all the levels there. But you can also support after the stream with a super thanks. Remember, without your support, we will be off the air in 2027. And do you think you have more panel presence, better opinions, more experience, or something else to improve upon a panel like this? Well, please sign up on the Game Master Insight Discord, read the rules, and find a panel topic that interests you. Now we're going to look at some of the comments that I starred here. All right, Malachi says an ability should not nullify an existing one. It should only enhance. And I'm going to have a comment about that in the members only. What do you guys think?
I think that's a good rule of thumb. Not necessarily like very firm rules that I would like 100% of the time, but I think usually it's a good design. This should something to consider when design. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's generally true. I mean, although, I mean, even in real life, I mean, certain things become obsolete at a certain point. So I wouldn't take a super hard line on it. But as a general rule, I think that's a good point.
I don't think should is the right word, but The spirit is there.
Did Doc just do it? I think, or not? Doc, did Law Dog just do it? I think he did.
I think he did.
Oh, he upped his membership.
Yeah, but I have to see. But he's already at the $24.99 one. Is this? The only one
upgraded. He upgraded to membership of DII Consentes.
It's a hostile takeover attempt. He's going to just break into the channel.
It's not updating here though, which is annoying to me. So I can't.
Law Dog, man.
Yep. Okay. Never mind. It's confirmed. Law Dog is the first person ever to hit. I don't know why you did it, but I can only thank you. And I'm gonna drink. I'm drinking to this. You're gonna get a drink.
We should all drink to this. I'll join you.
So,
like
you need an excuse, drunkie.
I'm gonna drink after I get through the super chats though. So
yeah.
Poor Child says the grease lightning spell release a D4 sparkle ponies in addition to other effects.
Yeah, or the pinkies to save you. Not the pinkies. What was the girl gang called?
The pink ladies. The pink
ladies show up to save you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
But it's Rizzo. So you
lock up your little sister. Rizzo's here.
Wow. By the way, I would really love it if you guys in the chat could thank Law Dog for that. I mean, basically, now I don't know how long he's going to keep it there. He might just do it once and downgrade it. But hey, you know what? That's still worth 20 months worth of normal membership. So I mean, basically, however long he does that, that's 20 months worth of memberships per month that he just did. So thank you very much, Law Dog. If you guys can also thank him, that would be awesome as well. Don't bring MMORPG mechanics to role-playing games. I know some people absolutely disagree with you on that. I agree. 100% I agree with you. I know many people who love MMORPGs so much that they actually want them in the games. That's why EverQuest was somewhat popular for 3rd edition. It's why Warcraft was kind of done. And it's why 4th edition, they thought that they had something with 4th edition.
They did. But anyway, I'm just going to say, don't bring TTRPG mechanics to an MMORPG. Like, it's silly. It's a silly point. Games have mechanics. You don't like them, don't play them. That's the secret.
Yeah, I think there's some terminology and some things about MMORPG concepts that I don't like. Like, I got to have a tank. Like, I'll even talk to folks about at work about this. I have to have a tank, I have to heal, and I have to have a DPS. And it's like, well, I play a lot of fighters. They're not all tanks.
Well, for me, like the big point, like with the big distinction between computer video game mechanics and TTRPG mechanics is in the complexity you can afford, right? And that's right in the topic we have now, right? Sometimes when the computer can manage a lot of things that it's hard to manage in real time at a table, like all those like little different like if then all those percentage, those complex calculation, you can do them in video game, and that's fine. And I'm glad I work in video game for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And one thing that attracts me so much in TTRPG design is finding this balance between having something that is complex enough that it's interesting, that you have something to bite in, and simple enough that you can manage it at the table, right? For me, it's an interesting design challenge. Go ahead there, sorry.
So, first of all, I want to say that I'm a big fan of TTRPG design. That's a great thing. I think we need to copyright it and get it going. Secondly,
it's a little dingle.
You talk so long, I forgot my point. Never mind.
Oh, sure.
You started, and I had a point right away based on what you said, and then you just kept going, and I'm like, fuck, and I lost the point. Sorry.
I would like to say I am actually going to start incorporating MMORPG things into my games. I'm going to have paywalls. You're going to have to buy flamingo dollars.
You got to buy flamingo dollars. Buy some bear bucks.
To unlock things in the game.
Go ahead, Bear.
I remember what I was going to say. Perfect example of when MMORPG mechanics do not work in a tabletop game. Final Fantasy Flight Games Warhammer, where everything had a chit and a cooldown token and a this, and it was like, am I playing the game or am I playing Token Master? Like, fuck off, you know? So yeah.
But Fantasy Flight is also a board game, and that's, you know, like sometimes board game mechanics also don't work in TTRPG necessarily, right? They're different, right? So not everything can translate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, thank you again for the $2, Plainsman. Appreciate that. Of course, we have Law Dog who updated his membership to the
bus.
He's the only person. I'd love it if everybody did it, but I didn't think anybody's ever going to do it. But whether he does it once or forever, that's awesome. Thank you very much for that. And for that, Law Dog, even though it wasn't a $50 super chat, whatever, you doubled that. So, and it's per month. Thank you, Law Dog. I really appreciate that.
Go. I'll join you in that, Max.
I'll drink some water. Cilantro.
All right.
It's important. People at home, you should drink some water. Do it right now.
Hydrate, bitches.
Yeah.
And who's this? T-Don says, deep emulation, EV deviations for play. Good? What do you guys think?
Well, he gave you 20 Swedish dollars, so that's nice.
Hey, you know what? Look, I'm Norwegian heritage, so I have to hate him, but I appreciate him. Thank you.
You don't have to be you don't have to be Scandinavian to hate the Swedes. I mean, come on.
Hey, the Swede look, the Free League, man. I'm sorry, but I love the Free League games. The
I
Swedes
love
have
Free
won
League
me
too.
over.
They're amazing. No, Free League's amazing. Yeah, I agree.
Fire.
Deep emulation can be a lot of fun, but you got to be careful. It's one of the things, like with Heroic 5e that I'm doing. I make a point of telling you in the intro, one of the biggest failures you can do in designing a superhero game is try to make a comic book emulator, because comic book is a constructed illusion. There's a writer, there's a continuity, there's all these things that are happening. A game is emergent. It's happening at the time. And so many superhero games fail because they're trying to create comic book experiences instead of creating superhero experiences. So yes, deep emulation can be fun, but it depends on how deep you go and what type of thing you're trying to emulate.
Mr. Max, Doc, anything you want to add to that?
I don't think I even don't understand what he means, so no. But I like Bear's answer, so I'll let him have it this one. I'll let him win on that.
Yay, me! I win one!
Well, if I'm taking it the right way, deep emulation, you're emulating whatever, whether it's a superhero game or you're emulating name a TV show. I want to say The Expanse for some reason, but you can easily have derivations from that.
Yes.
Where you take it in your own direction. So this starts out like Dead Rain, from Palladium is an example that I've been using recently. I'm so sick of the zombie trope. I don't want anything to do with the zombie trope. But there's so many things that I can derivate from that game that moves away from some of that, even though there are zombies in the game. And those zombies are interesting. They add excitement. So using Free League as an example, I can jump on into a Coriolis game and I can turn it into something completely different because it's easy. Well, it's got, I don't want to say emulation, but it's got deep and wide capability. It's just easy to derivate from it while still playing within those rules. That's how I took it.
Yeah, like for me, I don't like IP game, but I like.
Yeah, neither do I.
You can do an IP inspired campaign, but like make it clear, like it's gonna be like this, but our own spin on it. So we
right,
don't
100% agree.
by the lore, right? So there's that. As an emulation too, like people often talk about people talk about like simulationist game, right? And they use the term wrong because they think like a simulationist game meant that you're supposed to calculate it, like it's like Acts 2, right? When you can calculate everything that happened in the world, right? And there's mechanic for everything in the world, right? There's mechanics for like if you drop your toast from the table, would it?
Yeah, but let's be fair.
Like,
he's got
butter
two
up or butter
versions.
down.
He's got the simple version and the let's calculate everything version in the game.
Yeah. But and I'm not for that, and it's unfortunate that the term simulationist is oftentimes taken this way because like that's not what the term meant in the GNS theory. Let's not go there. But what?
It's just the genus theory. Ooh.
The GNS theory, yeah.
The GNS theory is silly.
GNS.
And it was one of the worst things that came out of the D20 glut was this idea that we're gonna high mind and pontificate. But no, it's smug bullshit.
I like it as theory crafting. I don't like it as we have to believe it.
No, but that's the problem. It became cult-like.
Yes.
You know about that, Mr. Max. You know well about that.
Yeah, but it's because people take it wrong, right? It's not like GNS theory was about like player motivation. It's not about game design. And that's where the people it's like the triple, like I was talking like in the last As Long As Everybody's Having Fun show, we talk about like the triple of role play, right? We're writing the video, and the girl like was Stephanie Play Games, and she said something like that is very true. The triple of role play is a design tool. You want to have stuff that your character can interact with in exploration, in social interaction, and in combat. If you do a character class, it's a design tool for a specific type of game, right? You do like a class-based game. You want each class to have something to do with those elements. It's not for every session that you want to touch that. It's not a GM tool, right? So people take some theory and use them wrong for the wrong thing. So that's a problem, right? GNS is the same thing.
You know what we were able to do for 2.5 decades before GNS came along?
Yeah.
Run games.
Yeah.
It's absolute mental masturbation. And it's trying to, because you like to over-intellectualize everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm autistic.
Yes, you are.
So yeah.
You're one of the pretty spectrumites.
All right, Doc, anything you want to say to that before we move on here?
No, not really particularly. Okay. I mean, it's rules. This is my opinion. Rules should be as invisible at the table as you can make them. It's like the rhyme scheme in a poem. It shouldn't draw attention to itself. It's there doing a job, but it shouldn't. If it jumps out at you, and becomes obvious, it's taking away from it, not adding to it.
All right, then. Let's get ready to move on, and thank you for the 20. It's a Swedish kroner, I think it is.
Krona.
Really appreciate that. You're awesome, and it's good to see a new name not only watching but donating as well. I can't thank you enough for that. So let's get my news. There we go. Got that one. There you go. Viewer call-ins, because everybody calls in through a magic crystal ball. That's the way it works, right? All right. It is time for segment 4, where you can have your say. But now, before we bring anybody in to talk to our panel, I need to remind you of a few things. If you don't want to get booted and possibly banned, do not break YouTube's terms of service. I gotta write something down here. Okay. Stay on topic. Unless someone specifically super chats more time for you, you have 5 minutes maximum for your back and forth. So please make your point quickly, and I'll also ask the panelists to answer you quickly. No matter what, the show is a hard stop at 2 hours and 30 minutes. We got a little over a half hour. This means we may not get to anyone or everyone. Sorry. Finally, I make no guarantees, but I will try to prioritize members, super chatters, and Rumble ranters, but I'll probably fail at that anyway. But with that said, booyah. Oh, I got to go to that one over there. And I think, no, we still stay on this. So we're just waiting for anybody to drop in. Now, I'm not going to wait forever. If nobody drops in the next couple of minutes, we will end the stream now. We'll go to the members only version and talk a little bit more. But I hope you guys come on in, ask these guys some folks about things from like complexity to too many skills to, whatever else you think that can slow down a game at the table in terms of characters or character sheets. Go ahead.
But look at your opportunity here, right? Hey, you've got 4 people here who are actual friends, who have talked a lot, have hung out a lot, have played games. We've all played games together. Right, at some point or another.
I don't think I played with Doc. Have I played with Doc?
I don't think
no one plays with Doc.
We never played together, Max. Yeah.
Yes, you did. You played Alternity. Alternity.
Yeah. We played Alternity. That's right.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Then I played with all of you here.
Yeah, I played with all of you as well. So this is something where you can actually take advantage of 3 divergent thought processes, divergent schools, and no one hates anybody here on the panel. We all get along real well, like each other just fine. Like take your
Max is especially divergent.
He's extremely divergent,
and it's fun too because like we all played together, but we also have like different vision of this
and we'll
right
cats and dogs. But at I know when I go to bed, I don't hold it against anybody.
God, no. I might think Max is stupid. Take your pick which Max I'm talking about, but I don't hate him for it.
But while we're wrapping this up here, in case somebody doesn't drop in, anything else you guys want to say? If you can plug something, if you
want. Yes, I do want to say something.
Yeah, please.
I am currently working on Heroic 5e. I've got 4 playtest groups for it. We're on version 3.7 of the rules coming up. It is, without a doubt, and I'm saying this and you guys know I don't pimp. You know I don't shill. Right. I don't like doing that. This may be the greatest fucking thing I've ever made.
Already.
It is that good. But It's for a specific type of play style. If you don't like 5e style play, you won't like this game, probably. But there have been a couple of the playtesters who are like, I don't like 5e, but I'm loving this. Because I set out to challenge myself to do one thing. For many, 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 many years, and you've all heard me say it here on the panel, you cannot do class and level superheroes. It's dumb. I'm a 4th level Spider-Man. I'm a 10th level Wolverine. And then I figured out how to do it. And I challenged myself to do it, and I did. And the simple thing was this, going back to something I said way back in segment 1. Game design must answer who, what, where, when, why, and how. If you don't answer these questions, your game will have gaps, and those gaps will require patchwork and plumbing later. And that was the big thing, was to basically say superhero classes should not determine what your character does, but how they do things. The powers determine what they can do. The talents determine what they can do. The class determines how they do it. So, for example, we have a class called a bruiser, and bruiser class is designed about using overwhelming force against their enemy. So, yeah, you could be very basic and have a super strength, super durability bruiser who runs in and punches everything in raw. But you could also have a psionicist who uses mental energy and just tries to overwhelm people and doesn't use finesse, but just tries to hit them with psionic energy to knock them out or whatever the case may be. That's the way it is. 8 classes, 2 added attributes to the regular 6, only 10 levels. It's a great game.
So one thing I want to defend Bear in this, because I don't like 5e, and I've never played heroic 5e either. Both superhero games and 5e are not my style. But with that said, my biggest complaint about 5e was that it was superhero role-playing. So, or maybe not superhero, but it was definitely power fantasy role-playing. So I actually would say, if you're going to make a superhero role-playing game, that's not a bad system to do it in.
And if you want a print copy of it, I put up a print playtest on Amazon just to have it out there for some people who wanted copies. So if you have a link that you can
put in private chat, I'll put it in the.
I'm going to here in a moment, but I think Malachi could maybe find it faster than me.
I think he already did.
He put the drive-through RPG.
Oh, he can. He has the wrench.
He put in the drive-through RPG. Give me a second, I'll get it. But I you know what? I'll show you.
Uh-oh.
$18 American. It's black and white interior with no art right now, but is the full game version 3.5.3. We are on version 3.7, and once we get to the finished 3.7, that's where the game stops until I decide if I'm going to crowdfund it or republish it as a full game. It is a full game. It's an awesome game. It's an amazing game, and $20 on average worldwide, you can have this game, and it's fun. Now, for the link, I'll get you the link. Give me a second.
Well, while you're doing that, Mr. Max, anything that you want to finish up here?
Well, if we're doing the shilling and the waiting, right? It's like, first of all, I want to say, Bear, right? I really like this idea that you are of the 5W, right? The who, what, where, when, and how.
Well, it's 5 W's and a 6, yeah. And a 6 H.
Yeah, I didn't do that for a Bastard Sword. I'm pretty sure I could do it pretty easy. I think I have answered those questions. I think I do just not even thinking about it. I probably can answer all those, right? Yeah. And I also, one thing I want to say, what you're saying, I like the idea of challenging yourself to do something. I think, there's not a lot of money in role-playing games, and I love seeing people trying stuff, right? It's playing role-playing games is a hobby. Designing them, I feel, kind of should be as well. It's something you should do for love, right? If you do it for money, you're in the wrong industry, right? And so you should do it for love. And I love people trying to solve a question, trying to push the hobby forward, trying to do something that might be hard or might not have been done well, might be hard to do, or maybe that's what I'm trying to do with Bastard Sword. After Bastard Sword, the next project I'm going to work in, if I'm still alive, is going to be a game with vehicle combat that feels fast. That's my next thing I want to work on. But because I don't think everybody did it right yet, right? So I want to see. I love seeing that. So I love seeing you, Bear, saying, you know what, I'm going to challenge myself. This thing is stupid. It shouldn't be well, let's try to do it, right? I love it.
That's what it was.
Yeah. That being said, if you go to drunkenclericgames.com, you can find like I design by Sword. It's very transparent. It's very open. I often put like when I have like big update, the SRD is there. You can go there and read the rules, and you have rules for character creation. You have rules for combat. You have rules for adventuring. You have rules for magic now. That's what I just added. So you have pretty much everything you need if you start wanting to play, right? It's not all complete. Like the character creation is limited. You don't have all the option. You know, it's a life path thing, so you don't have all the option yet. But you can still create a bunch of characters with it. You don't have all the option for magic, but you still have a few, right? So it's still you have like everything. You have like a vertical slice, basically what we used to call in video game design, right? You have vertical slice of a bit of everything, but you don't have the breadth yet. But if you want to look into it and see what I'm working in, what I'm doing, you can. I'm trying to be transparent with that because I'm not doing that for money.
And you'll see a really great logo for it, which was designed by me.
It's a great name. That's
designed
for sure.
by me.
Yeah.
Doc, on the other hand, has a great library of games.
Mm-hmm.
Pimp your shit, Doc.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yes, buy Intero Bang. Buy my games or die.
Oh, there you go.
That's my new company motto. I know it's blunt, but
let me offend Watsy, so that way.
Wait.
Are
you saying that if I buy your game, I won't die?
I won't guarantee that you won't die. Only
but statistics show less people die after buying his games.
This is true.
Oh, wow.
At least there's no uptick in death for people.
Unless they're in his game.
But that's a whole other thing. You run the game how you want.
As a player,
in the optional rules.
You will die, yeah.
Anywho, I have a couple of Doc's books here, so I mean these are good, but these are still from Drive-Thru, right?
The physical prints are from Amazon.
Amazon. Okay.
PDFs are
that's why they're better. Okay, I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Look, here's reality: if you go buy Heroic right now or Doc's game, you're probably going to get it in a day or two. If you have Amazon Prime, it's going to be free shipping. Yeah. If there's a problem with the book, they'll replace it, refund you, whatever. Right? Drive-Thru, you're going to go buy the book. You're going to pay through the nose for shipping, and you might get it a month from now.
And you're going to get 1 or 2 pages that they let slide through the printer, and you can't read them.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be in horrible quality from Drive-Thru. I don't even do it. And plus, they make it incredibly difficult to do it, and it's just shit quality. So,
oh my god!
If you're thinking about print your own stuff, go through Amazon.
The most aggravating thing about Drive-Thru RPG is they only accept InDesign files. Well, I don't use InDesign. But I can make a PDF of my layout, and Amazon has no problem with that.
Oh yeah, I don't use InDesign either, so I'm an old PageMaker guy. I don't believe in InDesign. All right, with that said, I just got to say here that nobody jumped in, and I put the link out there a couple of times. So, Mr. Max Boivin sent me a link as well. I'll put that out there.
Yes, put Mr. Max's link.
Mr. Max's link.
Yeah, and I'm sure Doc is going to send one as well.
Yes, I should do that.
Malachi already posted the link for your stuff, Doc.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay.
So I got Mr. Max's link out there. So now you guys have a link to everything. Grab them now because the public version of the stream is about to end. Let me do it this way so I can find this later on. Okay. So that's it for the public portion of tonight's Game Master Insight. YouTube members, there is more to come. And I see a few of you with news behind your name. So yeah, don't go running anywhere. You want to hang out. Normally I'd say I get more involved in the members only, but I was pretty involved today. So anyway, we're going to have more discussion. And I actually do allow them to swear, not that that stopped them in the first part. So a sincere thank you to everyone who supported the show with Super Chats, Rumble Rants, and memberships, and to all of you who took the time to join us tonight. And one last shout out to Law Dog for, dude, $99.99 a month. That is, wow, crazy. I've got to figure out something special to do for folks who do that. Thank you very much, sir. And yeah, finally, a thank you very much to tonight's panelists. They breezed through these topics like pop, 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 which is one of the reasons I kept asking questions and interjecting. Because I did want to, for the first time, normally I'm trying to I'm not trying to shut up. I'm not doing a good enough job of shutting up. Today I was like, oh, we got to fill up some time here. So good stuff. Really liked it. Hopefully you guys learned something from it, and thank them for their time and for their informative and spirited discussions. Be sure to check out their links in the description and the 400 links that Malachi put in the comments there, because that's where you're going to find their stuff, and that's how you can support them. They come here obviously because we're friends that like to talk about games, but when somebody builds something or makes something in a small niche hobby like this, you kind of hope to get some support out of that as well from the folks who are watching and who enjoy their content. So please check that out as well. And with that, I look forward to doing this again next time.